Hello.
I'm going to say a little bit in Welsh first, okay? So you won't understand much of this, but I'm just going to say a little bit in Welsh. Mae'r Heritage Hub I ganolbarth Cymru a chynrychiolwyr o sefydliadau hanes a threftadaeth newydd, man geni Robert Owen, yn ystod croeso cynnes iawn I chi, fel ffrindiau a theulu Robert Owen I Indiana, America. So you may have understood the word croeso. Have you heard that word before? It means welcome. So we're welcoming you. The rest is going to be in English. The Heritage Hub for Mid Wales and the Mayor and the High Sheriff of Montgomeryshire, history and heritage organisations are here today in Newtown, the birthplace of Robert Owen, to extend a very warm welcome to our friends and family of Robert Owen in Indiana, America. On this bicentenary year, we are united in commemorating Robert Owen's utopian legacy of historic New Harmony. As the great man himself said, if we cannot unite all opinions, let us at least unite all hearts. Croeso, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We really appreciate being here.
We're just about to show you a film now, a short film on Robert Owen. Okay?
Okay, that sounds great.
In 1799, a 22-year-old Welshman called Robert Owen bought this place, New Lanark, from his father-in-law, David Dale. While all around, life and work in Britain were hard and squalid, here in the Lanarkshire countryside, Owen set about creating a pocket of utopia. Robert Owen developed the principles he would put into practice here at New Lanark while managing a mill in Manchester, aged just 19. Owen believed that a person's character was down to the circumstances around them. Change those circumstances through education and better working conditions, and you would change the individual. Change the individual, and you would change society.
It's a great pleasure and an honour to be invited here to celebrate the life of the person who is without a shadow of a doubt Newtown's most famous son, and a man who's had a profound influence right across the world. Now, I'm not going to talk about too much about his work, that will come later. I want to talk about his association, his close association with the natural world around him, especially here in Newtown. We know that as a young lad growing up, he was the son of a saddler and an ironmonger, that he was a bookworm. He was a real bookworm. He loved his books. He spent a lot of time out and about locally here, walking the river, and you get some idea of what he would have seen and heard if you walk the River Severn here in Newtown today. But of course, back then, it would have been even richer in all kinds of wildlife, and he really appreciated his time there, as we will see later on in his life. He was an excellent businessman, he was a brilliant engineer, and he later on in life found himself up in New Lanark near Glasgow, working in the mills there. And this is where what he'd learnt in the Newtown area really came to the fore because the working conditions in those days were dreadful. They really were bad. If you worked in those mills, it was noisy, it was dark, there were so many injuries, no compensation, nothing like that at all. And Robert Owen looked at this and thought, but you know what I really want is I want fair play for these workers, because he was a firm believer that if you had a happy workforce, then the work that they produced would be of a better quality. And that's exactly what he did. He insisted that the workers had time off to go and walk the local countryside, to appreciate the wildlife that they had around us, so that at least for one day they were able to step away from these noisy mills. He also went further. He insisted that the children had a school education, and that was revolutionary in those days. And we know from paintings and from writings that in those schools he insisted that they were taught about wildlife as well, and not just UK wildlife, the wildlife they would have seen around them, but exotic wildlife, things like elephants and giraffes and ostriches, things that he knew that those children and the parents would never see. But at least they knew that these creatures, these amazing animals, were out there. And by doing that, he improved the working conditions for people, and that has filtered down to our lives today. So we owe him so much. And it's difficult for us now to even imagine what it would be like 150 years ago and more to work in these mills. But maybe we've had a small taste of it recently, because we've just gone through, or just coming out the other end of the worst pandemic for over 100 years. And many of us have been locked in for long periods, and it's not easy. It really is not easy at all. And I think now more than ever, we appreciate, as he did, being able to step outside, even if it was only for half an hour or an hour, and enjoy the natural world. So, Robert Owen, diolch o galon am bob peth. Robert Owen, thank you very much indeed for your invaluable contribution to social reform and really to human life.
It's not often you come face to face with a great man of history. This cast was taken during this man's lifetime, and what an extraordinary life it was. He was a pioneer of modern socialism. He inspired the cooperative movement. His philosophy also inspired the growth of trade unions. He was, without doubt, among the greatest of Britons, a man whose ideas and principles travelled the world. And yet, we've never given him the recognition he deserves. He's one of ours, and his name was Robert Owen. Born in 1771 here in Broad Street, Newtown, he left home as a youngster and became apprenticed, first as a draper. Then he moved into the cotton industry. By the time he was 21, he was managing a large cotton mill with 500 employees. Then, aged 28, he bought into the biggest venture of his life, the huge cotton mills and workers' village on the banks of the River Clyde in Scotland, New Lanark. At New Lanark, Owen set about improving working and living conditions for all. He built schools for everyone from infants to adults. He provided decent housing, free healthcare. He abolished child labour. He wanted to prove that commercial success could be achieved without exploiting the workforce. He also believed passionately that everyone in the workforce was an individual and that self-improvement was a road to happiness. Take this, for example. It looks like a Christmas decoration, but it's called the silent monitor, and there was one in every work position. The idea was that the supervisors each day would give the workers a colour. Black for bad behaviour, blue for indifferent, yellow for good, and white for excellent. I know, it sounds a bit, but apparently it caught on, and the workers loved it. And the point is that the idea was fresh then, and many of Owen's ideas are fresh today. And probably pretty popular, if you ask me. 8 hours daily labour is enough for any human being, he said. Parents shall be answerable for the conduct of their children, and so on. Owen tried unsuccessfully to establish similar communities in America and England, but if it didn't all work out, at least Robert Owen switched the lights on in the dark satanic mills. And because of his campaign for a better, fairer society, in 2001, New Lanark was awarded World Heritage status. Isn't there something missing here? Grand status for the Scottish buildings. But it was this Welshman's ideas that changed the lives and welfare of people the world over. Perhaps we should do more to champion the saddler's son from Newtown, Robert Owen.
That was lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So I'll start with a speech from me, and then we'll move on to some other speakers this morning from here in New Harmony. So good morning and good afternoon to those of you in Newtown. My name is Diane Sanders, and I'm the Assistant Director of Historic New Harmony. I'm also the chair of New Harmony's Owen-Maclure Bicentennial Committee. Historic New Harmony was initially founded as a private nonprofit organization in 1975, before the University of Southern Indiana assumed management of the program a decade later. We aim to inspire innovation and progressive thought by preserving New Harmony's utopian legacy through our programs and collections. I'm delighted that Ann Evans invited us to be part of today's program, as I can't think of a better way of honoring our organization's mission, and I'm thrilled to be celebrating the bicentennial of Robert Owen's community of equality in New Harmony. I want to thank Newtown and its leaders for your collective efforts to share Robert Owen's enduring legacy with your community and visitors. I'm especially grateful for your leadership in developing exhibits, programs, educational activities, and communications in support of the bicentennial of Robert Owen's New Harmony experiment. And I want to congratulate you on today's opening of the Robert Owen Utopian Legacy exhibition. I'm especially excited about today's opportunity, where we are uniting our towns virtually in celebration of the 200th anniversary of the establishment of the Constitution of the Preliminary Society here in New Harmony, and also commemorating the beginning of the Owens 2-year experiment together. I hope that this will be the first of many opportunities for shared experiences and will strengthen the partnership between the 3 key locations of Owen's life: Newtown, New Lanark, and New Harmony. At one time, Robert Owen was a household name, and his accomplishments were well known throughout the world. But as often happens over the course of history, Owen's name and feats are not nearly as prevalent as they once were. Anniversaries like this one, or the 250th anniversary of his birth in 2021, provide historical organizations like Historic New Harmony and yours with the opportunity to raise the collective consciousness of our shared heritage. New Harmony's Owen-Maclure Bicentennial Committee was established in January of 2025, and it is comprised of representatives from most of New Harmony's organizations and community members. While the committee is still determining the experiment's milestones to commemorate and the activities to pursue over the next 2 years, we are excited about developing experiences and educational materials that are long-lasting and will impact visitors both now and in the future. We are also interested in focusing on Robert Owen and William McClure, the leaders of the experiment, as well as the scholars who journeyed to New Harmony on the Philanthropist or the Boatload of Knowledge during the winter of 1826. as well as the everyday folks that sought a better life for themselves and the experimental community. Finally, we hope to showcase the effects of the experiment that still impact and remain relevant to the world today. In 1825, Robert Owen purchased the town of New Harmony from George Rapp, the leader of the Harmonists, to put his social theories to the test. He hoped to establish a new moral world and secure happiness for mankind by instituting his theories that included creating a communal society, educating people from birth, and producing and distributing wealth equally, among other ideas. While Robert Owen's experiment was ultimately unsuccessful, its legacy continues in the fabric of our community, woven into the essence of what New Harmony was in the past, what it is currently, and what we hope it will become in the future. Many participants in the experiment remained in New Harmony following Robert Owen's departure, including several artists, educators, and scientists from the boatload of knowledge, and Owen's own children, Robert Dale, William, Jane Dale, David Dale, and Richard Dale. New Harmony became a national leader in the sciences, particularly in geology, during the period following the experiment, which we often refer to as the afterglow. Later in the 1940s, Kenneth Dale Owen, Robert Owen's great-great-grandson, returned to his childhood home with Jane Blaffer Owen, his new bride. She immediately fell in love with the town, and the couple decided to use their financial resources to bring out the potential they saw in New Harmony. Together, they restored New Harmony's architecture and commissioned several works of art and architecture to create a spiritual haven. Their descendants continue to play an active role in the community to extend the Owens legacies by serving on various boards of New Harmony organizations. During the past year, the town of New Harmony has engaged a planning firm to develop a town comprehensive plan. Town leaders, business leaders, organizations, and community members have worked together to create a vision for New Harmony's future. While the plan is currently being finalized, a draft vision statement was released at a public meeting on March 19th this year. Founded on communal principles, New Harmony is a welcoming and ever-evolving small town with a resourceful, creative, and innovative spirit. It is a place where history and progress meet, where the natural world and human talent intertwine, and where a sense of community thrives. While Robert Owen's plan to develop a new moral world didn't materialize here in New Harmony, it's evident that his experiment provided the foundation from which the town and our community continue to draw inspiration. In the foreword of New Harmony Then and Now, Jane Blaffer Owen and Connie Weinzapfel noted, from the Greek, utopia means no place, never to be in actuality, but always to be in the soul of New Harmony. I find this to be a fitting tribute to Robert Owen and his New Harmony experiment. Robert Owen may not have created his utopian vision in New Harmony, but his values have seeped into our roots and made New Harmony the town it is today. So in closing, I'd like to thank you again for your focus on Robert Owen, his New Harmony experiment, and on the Bicentennial. We look forward to the collective work that will be produced for this anniversary by both towns and the enduring impact it will have on our communities and visitors. And before I turn the program over to my colleagues, I would like to take this opportunity to share a short trailer of the introductory film we share at the Atheneum Visitor Centers with all of our visitors. It provides a brief overview of New Harmony's utopian history. It provides a visual of the historic character of our town, and will give those of you who haven't been here a taste of utopia here in New Harmony.
Utopia, if you think about the name in itself, is an ideal, looking for an ideal place that really doesn't exist.
There's a saying that the veil is very thin here. There's a connection to the spiritual, to the other.
It just has some magic here. It's hard to describe, but once you're here, you feel it and you want more of it.
We are fortunate that we actually house 3 utopian communities. 2 of them are from the 19th century, and one of them is a contemporary one. These utopian experiments, they were looking for an ideal community where people could share, where they could live together in harmony.
Looking at the harmonists, Here we are, we have 10 years and they've built 180 buildings. It's just really astounding, that amount of labor and industriousness to really create what they did.
In 1825, the Harmonists were planning to move back to Western Pennsylvania and wanted to leave the town of New Harmony. So Robert Owen purchased the town to establish a community of intellectuals, scientists, artists, and others to conduct his social experiment.
Robert Owen has a remarkable experiment, and it's an experiment in communal living. It is an experiment in benevolent industrialism. It's the heart of the very first co-op. It's where we start to see educational opportunities for children. The first daycares emerge out of Owen's experiments, and that's something that he carries with him to his experiments here in New Harmony, and his descendants carry with them this legacy of education and educational opportunities for laborers, but also for children to have opportunities from birth up to going off to secondary school.
Jane Blaffer Owen, I would argue, established a third utopia, a contemporary utopia. What she brought here to New Harmony is contemporary architecture.
When I bring students here, they have a tendency to really love the roofless church. They like the big open window type space to stare out over to the prairie. They love to see the swans. They love to see the eagles along the Wabash.
For a lot of people on the coast and from overseas, this part of the world is really a mystery. And a lot of people have preconceived notions about what rural America is like and what things are like around here. And when they come here, they experience something really unique and interesting and both deeply spiritual and of the moment right now at the same time.
We have a jewel here. It's a very special place where beauty and history come together, and that is the new and the old.
So I hope that gave you just a little flavor of our little town here. I hope that one day all of you will be able to visit. And I know that our crowd here would love to be able to go to Newtown and visit you as well. Our next speaker, I would like to introduce Jeff Smotherman. He's the president of our New Harmony's Town Council. And during their last meeting on April 15th, the New Harmony Town Council passed the resolution regarding the Owen-Maclure experiment bicentennial, which he'll present at today's event. Jeff?
Thank you. Thank you, Zoe. Good morning to those of you here in New Harmony, and good afternoon to those of you in Wales. And thank you for allowing me the privilege of presenting the resolution from the town of New Harmony. Again, I'm the president of the town board of New Harmony, and I would like to read to you today Resolution 2025 of the town board of New Harmony, Indiana, recognizing the bicentennial of Robert Owen's Community of Equality in New Harmony, Indiana. Whereas Robert Owen was born in Newtown, Wales in 1771 and grew up to become a wealthy cotton mill owner and social reformer from New Lanark, Scotland. And whereas he envisioned creating a new moral world in the United States, so he purchased the specified property of the Harmony Society at New Harmony on the Wabash on April 26, 1825. He would put his social theories to the test by establishing a community of equality. And whereas the Constitution for the Preliminary Society was established on May 1, 1825, and whereas Owen-Maclure agreed to finance Robert Owen's venture in November 1825 and traveled to New Harmony with the fellow natural scientists and educators on the keelboat Philanthropist, also known as the Boatload of Knowledge, and arrived on January 23rd, 1826. And whereas members of the Preliminary Society resolved to form the Community of Equality and established a new constitution on February 5th, 1826. And whereas New Harmony is reorganized according to a plan proposed by Owen-Maclure into 3 communities: the Educational Society, Agricultural and Pastoral Society, and Mechanic and Manufacturing Society on May 28th, 1826. And whereas Robert Owen gives his farewell address at New Harmony on May 26th, 1827, and departs thereafter on June 1, 1827. And whereas Robert Owen's Community of Equality was the first attempt at utopian socialism in the United States, which prompted several other Owenite experiments in the United States and around the world. And whereas Robert Owen's Community of Equality brought significant contributions, American scientific and educational theory, study and practice through the work of Robert Owen's children and the scientists and educators who remained in New Harmony following the dissolution of the experiment. Now, therefore, the Town Board of New Harmony does hereby resolve that the Bicentennial Robert Owen's Community of Equality shall commence on May 1, 2025 and extend through June 1, 2027. Signed, President of Town of New Harmony Town Board, Jeff Smotherman. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. And next, I would like to introduce Docey Lewis, who is a descendant of Robert Owen and David Dale Owen. She is also the owner of Design Bank 505 and a director on the Robert Lee Blaffer Foundation Board of Directors. Docey, welcome.
Gofachien o New Harmony, Indiana. My one Welsh word. I am the hen granddaughter of Robert Owen. And I was fortunate to grow up on family history. My mother also grew up on family history. And I was born in New Haven, Connecticut. And on my father's side, I'm a descendant of Eli Whitney. So we had the Cotton King there. And on my mother's side, Robert Owen. I am the, I think, 5th Caroline Dale Owen, this namesake. And I must say, when I reflect on my mother's 7.5-pound book of letters from the women on the Owens side of the family, I'm grateful to her, but I also feel a certain amount of angst over Caroline Dale, the wife of Robert Owen, what she had to endure with this whirlwind of energy, an atheist, a unstoppable force. And unfortunately, she never came to America, and she and 2 of her daughters died. And I feel very sad about that. And I would really like to know more about Caroline Dale. So if any of you historians have some insight into how she felt about things, I would love to know. The good part of growing up with Robert Owen was I became a weaver. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And I set up a workshop in the Philippines, and believe it or not, we had silent monitors. I thought that was a dandy idea. And we celebrated the best weaver of the month, and we educated all their children. That was a perk at my little workshop. I only had 25 weavers, but they all had plenty of children. And so, and my workshop was leased from the Episcopal Church. So it was in the basement of the Episcopal Church at the Easter School weaving room. So we had a school right there on the premises. And we duplicated that when after an earthquake in the Philippines, I did a similar project in Nepal, only on a larger scale. And again, we sent all the kids to school, and they knew about Robert Owen because the cooperative movement was part of the Maoist effort in Nepal. So, you know, Robert Owen has been both celebrated and reviled, even here in the US, when Fox News did a program on him that put him in a rather bad light of being the father of socialism in the USA, and that became a dirty word, but he's also extremely celebrated by the cooperative movement, cooperative electricity movement, cooperative farm movement, cooperative grocery stores. So he's not totally obscure in America. Just a second, I was going to say a couple of other things. When I saw the eternal optimist on your tagline on the film, I thought, you know, that is a very, if you just come away with nothing else than eternal optimism, some belief in the goodness of humanity, that serves us well in these rather challenging times. So I think, you know, Ann Evans, I'm so grateful to you for spearheading everything that you're doing. A children's book about Robert Owen would be most welcome, I think. And we really do need to celebrate the heroes that look on the bright side and create a whiff of the past and a path to our future. So happy signing of New Harmony. We're very pleased to live here and celebrate him here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Docey. I learned a few new things about you today, so that was wonderful. The last person I'd like to introduce is Rod Clark, and he's on our New Harmony Town Council and a member of New Harmony's Owen-Maclure Bicentennial Committee, among other roles. Unfortunately, he is currently traveling and is unable to join us in person. He is listening in on the call right now. He prepared remarks in advance, and I'm going to present them since he is not able to be here. So Rod writes, I regret not being able to participate in today's event commemorating the bicentennial of Robert Owen and William McClure's grand social experiments in New Harmony. I have long been a student of Robert Owen and have visited both New Lanark and Newtown, Wales, in order to appreciate his background and by doing so understand his vision. It can be said that those who truly change the world are often those who are long on vision and intellectual zeal, but short on the gifts of practicality and pragmatism. I think that description fits Robert Owen well. His passion and charismatic gifts allowed him to foster wide enthusiasm for his radical ideas of a new world order, a new way for mankind to move forward into a new millennium. Those ideas would manifest themselves in a country that had recently thrown off the vestiges of old world political, religious, and economic ideas here in America. Owen found his counterpart in William McClure, a man perhaps less on vision, but more grounded in practical and pragmatic gifts for getting things done. Their opposing talents would ultimately contribute to the demise of their partnership and of the experiment. Much has been said about that demise, but suffice it to say that without the visionaries, without the dreamers, the world would never change. So many of Owen's radical ideas would later be shaped and chiseled into practical reality by others. For that, we can all be grateful to share a part in his legacy as we celebrate the bicentennial of a failed experiment that ultimately changed so many aspects of our society today. It is worthwhile that we spend time over the next year to reconsider and understand more deeply just what happened in each of our communities because of the vision of others. I look forward to doing so with you all in the year ahead. So thank you, Rod, for those words. So in conclusion for our part of the program, thank you again for your enthusiasm and all the work that you've done thus far to celebrate Robert Owen, the New Harmony Experiment, and its bicentennial. And again, congratulations on the opening of your new exhibition. And we really do look forward to continuing this fruitful collaboration with all of you in the future.
Ethan, thank you, Diane, and thank you, Docey, and I obviously thank Heidi as well. Is she there with you today? Yeah.
Yes, let me see if I can turn the camera around just a minute. Thank
Diane.
Oh, here.
And everyone in New York. Obviously, I hope that we can share our event today and also the exhibition on the web going forward for the birthday celebration of Robert Owen on the 14th of May. But thank you very much for taking part.
Thank you. This has been wonderful.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.